Welcome to this episode. This is all about our preparation for our 2024 olive harvest.
So as part of getting ready for the olive harvest this year, which is our third olive harvest, Pete and I have walked all around the land and looked at every single olive tree to establish A, are there any olives on it at all, and B, if there are, what type of olives they are. Now this is a Xylella Fastidiosa tree, and as you can see it's absolutely brimming with olives. It's one of our better examples. We've got 43 Xylella Fastidiosa altogether. Last year they were hacked back quite a lot to reduce their height, and some of them have got a few olives. Some of them, like this one, are absolutely bursting with olives. Given that Xylella Fastidiosa has affected and killed at least 11 million trees, olive trees in Puglia, we're really pleased with how these ones are doing. They have all got signs of Xylella, but some of them are worse than others. So what the tree audit showed us for the olive harvest is that about 50% of our large Xylella Fastidiosa are worth harvesting this year because they've got olives on them. We've got 3 other main varieties at Bolla, and they're split into 2 groves, the South Grove and the North Grove, and they're predominantly made up of Picholinas, Coratinas and Licinos. So Pete and I have done our best to identify and write down on this piece of paper that I've got in my pocket which is which tree is which, and there's a couple that have eluded us. We don't know. We'll show you one of those because it's big and round and green like a cherry, and one of you might actually be able to identify it. But so this is the South Grove, and this has got a lot of Picholinas in it, and all of these trees in this grove are worth harvesting this year, which is incredible because last year we harvested as well, and when we arrived 2 years ago we were told that these small grove trees only harvest every 2 years. Well, you could have fooled me. That is definitely worth harvesting. These are our Licino olive trees, and aren't they gorgeous? I mean, some of the trees have been affected slightly by something, we're not sure what, but the olives are incredible. And this year we're going to mix the Licinos, the black Licino harvest, with the Xylella Fastidiosa harvest.
And just to know that the olives this year are about double the size on this tree. So last year the Licino olives are really small and black.
Yeah.
This time they're
we fertilised.
Really big.
We put fertiliser down in the spring. It's got to have made a difference because they are bigger.
They do need more water though.
They do need, yeah, not enough rain. Not enough rain around here. So we've got 30 Coratina trees in our small olive groves, and this is distinctive because it turns from the top downwards. When they're completely green, obviously they're like that, but as you can see, there are a lot of them. And it doesn't matter if we harvest with a mixed harvest of those that are turning and those that are green. When they're green, you get a higher level of polyphenols with your olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. So it really doesn't matter if we're mixing the ones that have turned with the ones that are still green. And this is our last main type of olive that we have. It's a Pecholina olive, which is a French cocktail olive variety. These aren't ready yet, we can see that. They're meant to be bigger than this. But this year we're going to do 2 harvests, one of the earlier varieties, which is Licino and Xylella Fastidiosa, and the second batch, which might well be as much as a week later, will be our Pecholina olives together with our Coratinas. So we're going to have 2 big harvests, both with mixed olive varieties in them. So, help to the YouTube viewer. This is the one that we honestly don't know what it is. It's huge. It's like a cherry, and look how sort of round compared to the other ones they are. And they don't seem to clump. They seem to be isolated in literally ones and twos on this tree. Not many of them, but in our view definitely worth harvesting this year. But they're sort of They're different to every other tree that we've got, and we don't know what it is. So if you can help, please help. So part of getting ready for the olive harvest is getting the suckers off from the base of all the olive trees, and I have already done the 2 small olive groves, but this morning's walk around and doing the tree audit has helped me to prioritise which of the large Xylella trees I need to do, because if we don't do this, then what happens when you harvest? The olives basically bounce around everywhere with a shaker, and they can get stuck in the suckers. So it's enabled me to know which of the olive trees, the big ones, I need to do. So this is the new tool this year. I nearly broke my hand last year doing it by hand, but this year, this is what we do.
Hold on.
Oh, you get it?
Oh, I can't get in there.
Get in there. Ready? Knock them off completely, and that way they don't grow back. Got it? Are you catching this? There we go. It's a bit brutal, but God, it saves time. I spent hours, well, days and days last year doing this, and if it's true and they don't actually grow back, then I'll be delighted, because this job would be less next year. So it's just a little demo, but here we go. I go and take these, of which there are many, and this is just being added to the produce from the small olive grove. All of these will then get wheelbarrowed up to the area where Pete is going to put them through Chipper. When Chipper gets repaired as his loyal membership of the Bolla Workers Union, Pete, Equipment Division.
All right.
Okay, so he's got a lot of work still to do, unfortunately. Poor Chipper.
Yeah, unfortunately, machinery gets beasted here.
Yes.
Oh well. And Sally's been desuckering, and with the desuckering, we've got loads of suckers that have mounded up, and down the bottom, we've still got a load more. So when they come here, we plan to reuse everything. Trusty Chipper Chichi, but I'll speak to him in a minute. Shred it, and we're ended up with a pile of shreddings, and this is really from suckers, some citrus trees and some fig trees, and I was going great guns, then unfortunately Chipper died.
What do you think happened to it, Pete?
Well, I was just finishing this big pile here that he'd left me. It was about this big and this big. Got back to this, and Chipper just wouldn't accelerate anymore. So I think, because I put a new carburetor on it last year, I think that the carburetor is blocked up and it hasn't got the auto advancing mechanism. So I'm going to have to take the carburetor off, clean the carburetor out, put it back together again, because Sally's still got piles and piles and piles of stuff to shred. So Chipper needs to work again.
And Chipper is a trusted and loyal member of the Bolla Workers Union Equipment Division, and we're not happy, because it sounds like Chipper has been worked too hard, Pete.
I think with most of my bits of equipment, they're worked well beyond what they should be worked.
Yeah, like me. I feel like a piece of equipment sometimes.
Stop complaining. Otherwise I'll change your carburetor as well.
Right. Poor Chipper.
Prepping for the olive harvest, got to get all the kit up and running. Our trusty little table here. Over the winter it tends to seize up in the ball bearings, which is just underneath here, so I've just freed those off, going to grease those up a minute. We've got a little truck that we bought. This one here carries the battery because it weighs a ton, and we pull it down the end. The battery is in my little compartment box in here, and I've got that connected to a 100-watt solar panel, because that keeps it charged throughout the winter time, and we use it for Sally's fountain, which is over there on a timer, so when it's not olive harvesting it's being used as well. And we've got the 2 nets down here, which we've got to open up, make sure there's no holes in them, and make sure that they're dry and clean, which they were from last year. We'll go into the garage now, and I'll show you some of the problems we've had in the garage. Most important thing is the electrical rake. Doesn't need a lot of doing because I got told off by the people I bought it off. He said don't clean it, it's carbon fibre, don't oil it, it doesn't need it. And there's a little grease nipple up here which he says you don't need to do for 2 years, so I haven't done anything. I'm going to attach this up to the battery probably this afternoon just to make sure it works and it extends and it's clean as well. One of the most important pieces of kit that we bought last year, which we used for other things as well, is the trolley. This holds 250 kilos and we've got these really nasty spiky things on the land and it keeps on putting punctures in the tyres. So I've got 3 spare inner tubes, I've got puncture repair kits, and this has been waiting here for a week for me to fix it, and I've just fixed it because we put all the crates in here when we pull the olives back, when we bring them back up to the car trailer, and we also take all of the equipment down on this little trolley. Fantastic purchase, really useful, and neither of us want to be without it during the olive harvest.
In fact, it ought to join the La Bolla Workers' Union equipment division. I think we've got a new member because it's that important.
It keeps on, the tyres keep on going. I keep on having to fix it. Talking about that, and I've got chipper in here. I've got chipper in pieces. I've stripped the carburettor off, replaced the air filter, the timing advance I've redone, and I bought some spares last year, but they got cancelled by Amazon, so it's now waiting for spares because I've reordered them from Amazon. So hopefully chipper will be up and running on Friday, so we can actually clear those suckers that Sally took off. Thanks for watching. That was all about our prep for the olive harvest. The next one is going to be us olive harvesting and tasting. Please join us. If you like it, give us a thumbs up. Thank you.